ghosts, and we solve mysteries.
Netflix's Dead Boy Detectives never lets you forget that it's about two boys who turned to detective work after they died. Thankfully, this is no streaming-era slow build. When we meet George Rexstru's stuffy Edwin and Jaden Revery's rowdier Charles, the two deceased British teenagers have been assisting their fellow ghosts with unresolved matters for decades. Viewers are dropped right into the adventures and afterlife of the characters first introduced by Neil Gaiman and Matt Wagner in the pages of the Sandman number 25, though it isn't long before their routine is disrupted by the arrival of Cassius Nelson's amnesiac psychic, Crystal Palace. Dead Boy Detectives quickly makes clear its overall approach is whimsical horror, pitting its central trio against all sorts of ghosts, demons, and other macabre threats with a winking, humorous tone. On that front, it's entertaining, garnering laughs with characters like an apologetic emissary of hell or a bizarre, anime-inspired tree with giant teeth named, naturally, Teeth Face.
Dead Boy Detectives.
Sweet name. We have to help, even if it's scary and the odds are bad and we might die horrifically.
Helping Crystal, who's been suffering from a wee bit of possession, brings the Dead Boys to a small town in the Pacific Northwest. They stick around these overcast environs, continuing to take cases and contending with the ongoing looming threats of a witch named Esther and the supernatural bureaucrat known as Night Nurse. Jen Lyon and Ruth Connell provide tremendous fun as these decidedly determined characters, who each have their own reasons for entrapping Edwin and Charles. Lyon's Esther is casually cruel and humorously flippant, with Lyon bringing a gleefully malicious vibe to the character that feels like she'd be a great sparring partner for Jennifer Tilly on Chucky. Connell is pitch perfect as uber-disciplinarian Night Nurse, who is all about maintaining the rules of the afterlife and furious that the Dead Boy Detectives have broken so many of them.
I would like to hire you. I've heard you're the best.
There are some jokes the show hits one too many times, though. In this world, ghosts can communicate with cats, but the fact that every cat they meet speaks in a grumpy, foul-mouthed voice wears thin, as do Lucas Gage's appearances as the anthropomorphized Cat King. He's an enjoyable scenery chewer, but his scenes grow repetitive with time. Similarly, a couple of very snarky and insulting miniature sprites are initially amusing before suffering from diminishing returns in later episodes.
Can all cats do that?
Can all cats do that? Of course not. I'm a cat king.
Other supporting characters are simply adrift. Yu Yu Kitamura is very funny as Crystal's amusingly direct neighbor Nico, yet despite quickly learning all the secrets of the Dead Boy Detectives fairly early on, she rarely joins their investigations the way Crystal does. Kitamura gets a laugh by acknowledging that fact, but it does nothing to change how needlessly superfluous her character sometimes feels. More obviously incidental is the living girl's landlord, Jenny, whose ample screen time contributes very little to the overall story, despite Brianna Cuoco's likable performance, most noticeable during a bizarrely random and extraneous subplot about the tattooed butcher's secret admirer.
Nico, that was amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, did you guys know zombies are real?
Rexstru and Reverie have a nice chemistry together as the odd couple at the center of the story, and Dead Boy Detectives gets decent mileage out of a burgeoning love triangle between their characters and Nelson's. Charles flirts with Crystal, while Edwin hides long, simmering romantic feelings for his partner in crime solving. Nelson meshes well as the new member of the team, but she's also unfortunately saddled with an arc about the demon that once possessed Crystal. It's dull and always drags the show down.
Marty! Jesus! I'm trying to threaten some kids.
Ruth Connell's presence reflects the strange development of Dead Boy Detectives. Originally ordered as a sorta kinda spin-off of Doom Patrol for Max, it was sold to Netflix along the way and has been retrofitted into the universe of that streamer's Sandman series. Appearances by the Sandman's death and other familiar faces make it harder to not compare the two series, and Dead Boy Detectives just isn't as strong as the Sandman, despite Neil Gaiman's involvement in both. It can't match the Sandman's dramatic heights, and even when it gets more serious, it often feels superficial and try-hard. Sometimes it hits its marks with its "isn't this all wacky and weird" material, but other times it feels a bit leaden.
Dead Boy Detectives?
It's Aces, right?
It's just a stupid name.
Season 1 thrives at its midpoint, when it emphasizes procedural mysteries over serialized storytelling. The third episode, about a family reliving their own murder again and again, is a highlight that leans into pure horror. Though the finale is just so-so, it's preceded by a strong penultimate episode that fleshes out Edwin and Charles's personal histories, while one of the dead boys sets out on a trippy and harrowing journey to save his partner. There are times when the special effects are clearly straining against a limited budget, but there's impressive and creative imagery throughout the season, including a sort of corpse garden, cool creature designs like the aforementioned teeth face, and a couple of backstories rendered in different animation styles.
No. Oh, come on, having a psychic is paying off.
She is absolutely not joining the agency.
You know I can totally hear you guys.
Dead Boy Detective serves as an acceptable snack between seasons of The Sandman. It's not trying to be as ambitious as its parent show, but the core conceit here, ghost detectives solve ghost mysteries, is solid and leads to some fun installments. The more serialized aspects are hit or miss, with some subplots and characters feeling extraneous and meandering, even while strong performances help elevate the threat posed by the villains. For more TV reviews, check out what we thought of Knuckles and Fallout Season 1. And for everything else, stick with IGN.